A great welcome to Poonam Dua literature classes. आज हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं एक novel Schindler's Ark, which is quite a famous novel and a very famous award-winning movie is also based upon the same. This is a historical novel, and those who know about Hitler and all the Nazi moments, they will be able to associate more with this. Historical novel published in 1982 by the Australian novelist Thomas Keneally, and the United States edition of this book was titled Schindler's List. शायद आपने इस मूवी के बारे में भी सुना होगा. The novel won Booker Prize and was awarded Los Angeles Times Book Prize for Fiction in 1983. Do remember the year? Schindler's Ark, 1982 novel, won Booker Prize and Los Angeles Times Book Prize in 1983. हॉलीवुड फैन है तो स्टीवन स्पीलबर्ग का नाम जरूर सुना होगा. Schindler's List is a 1993 American epic historical drama film as well, directed and produced both by Steven Spielberg and written by Steven Zalian. Based upon the same novel which I was talking about, Schindler's Ark by Australian novelist Thomas Keneally, and the film follows the life of Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,000 mostly Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in the factories during World War II. Holocaust क्या होता है ये हम डिटेल में समझेंगे अभी. What is Holocaust? Holocaust is a situation where great many things are destroyed and great many people die, and not a natural calamity. Natural calamity में भी यही सब होता है, but Holocaust is not the outcome of a natural calamity. Several people who survived this turbulent time in 1940s have recounted those tragic historical times. Many literary texts attempted to faithfully reproduce those horrible moments of history, and Schindler's Ark is one such intriguing narration of the trial and triumphs of Oskar Schindler, a German businessman who had saved many Jews from gas chambers in concentration camps. आपने एन फ्रैंक के बारे में तो सुना ही होगा. This book was again the outcome of Holocaust. The Second World War witnessed many inhuman attacks on humanity. One such horrendous act which eclipsed all other tragic events in its notoriety was the Holocaust. Once a writer Keneally happened to visit Beverly Hills, a luggage store in Beverly Hills, California. By chance, he met the store owner, Pauldick Pfefferbach. And this person, Pauldick Pfefferbach, was the Schindler survivor who urged the novelist to write about the war hero Schindler and the Jews he had saved. After examining all the documents and listening to the narrations and interviews of many of the survivors, Keneally was greatly impressed by the moral ambiguity of Schindler, and he found the novel the suitable medium and technique to portray a character of such great magnitude. Let us see what did he write in the preface of this book. Schindler's Ark must not be read as a novel, as it is mere of a historical account based on reports of eyewitnesses, documents, and visits to sites described in the novel. Further, he confesses that efforts have been taken to narrate the events as they are without any alteration, without any change. The author positions himself as a historian actually, not as a novelist, to report the true stories of victims, testimonies of the survivors, their interviews, and people's personal accounts of all the experience that they had during this time. If anyone of you is into Christianity और थोड़ा बहुत जानते हैं तो आपने Noah's Ark सुना होगा. An ark which Noah created to save people from flood. उसी तरीके से Schindler's Ark है. Ark is the most sacred artifact in all of Judaism. The title Schindler's Ark, the Ark refers to the Ark of Covenant, which in Judaism symbolically refers to God's promise of security to the Jews. सबको बचाया जाएगा. The title metaphorically stands for Schindler's assurance of protection to his Jewish workers. हमारा ये title भी assure करता है कि Jewish workers को protect किया जाएगा by Schindler's Ark. To understand the novel, we need to understand the history a bit. जर्मनी के बारे में और फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर के बारे में जानते हैं। वर्ल्ड वॉर वन विच वॉज फॉट बिटवीन 1914 and 1918. Let us know now. Germany was defeated in World War One, which ended in 1918. And Germany was held responsible for the maximum damage of the war and were asked to pay compensation to Great Britain and France. Their economy was worst affected as strict sanctions were imposed on them. जर्मनी को ही पनिशमेंट मिली पूरी वॉर की. As a result, people had to fight against poverty and unemployment. And amidst this atmosphere of anguish and frustration, Adolf Hitler, an Austrian by birth who saved the German army, became the leader of the Nazi Party. And through his very impressive rhetorical speeches, he aroused the spirit of German nationalism, and Nazi Party emerged victorious in 1932 elections. Germany में जो elections हुए 1932 में, we can say Hitler or Nazi Party was the victorious one. Next year, Hitler became the Chancellor of Germany, and very soon he started acting like a dictator. Nazis considered Jews as the reason for all the miseries that were caused to Germans after World War One, and Hitler considered Jews as an inferior race. Jews को हिटलर ने consider करना शुरू कर दिया कि वो inferior है, who posed a threat to his vision of establishing Aryans, the German race, as the superior race. After the war, Nazis who were involved in the Holocaust were tried for their crimes. The Jews' demand for separate homeland, which was supported by US, was accepted in UN, and in 1949 a separate homeland was created for Jews, that was Palestine. तो हमारे राइटर कैनेली का बेस्ट नोन वर्क शिंडलर्स आर्क, which was published in 1982 and also published as Schindler's List, actually tells the true story of Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,300 Jews from Nazis. Like many of Keneally's protagonists, Schindler is rather an ordinary man who acts in accord with his conscience. अपनी अंतरात्मा के हिसाब से काम करते हैं डिस्पाइट दी इविल अराउंड हिम. आसपास सब जगह इविल है. Controversy surrounded the book's receipt of the Booker Prize for Fiction. Controversy बहुत हुई थी जब इस बुक को Booker Prize मिला था for fiction, as people said कि it is not a fiction at all, it is just the reporting of some historical events. This novel, as I told you, tells the story of Oskar Schindler, self-made entrepreneur who finds himself saves Polish Jews from Nazi death machine, or you can say Holocaust, कैसे गैस चैम्बर्स में कलेक्ट करके लोगों को मरवा दिया जाता था. Based on numerous eyewitness accounts, Keneally's story takes place within Hitler's attempts to make Europe free of Jews. हिटलर का पूरा अटेम्प्ट था कि पूरे यूरोप से सभी Jews को हटा दिया जाए. Schindler is presented as a flawed hero. ऐसा नहीं है कि शिंडलर वॉज कम्प्लीटली अ प्योर पर्सनालिटी. उनकी लाइफ में जो भी उनकी रियलिटी थी वो भी शो की गई. ही वॉज हिमसेल्फ अ फ्लॉड हीरो, अ ड्रिंकर, अ विमेनाइजर एट फर्स्ट एंड अ प्रॉफिटियर. एक ऐसे बिजनेसमैन जो प्रॉफिट चाहते हैं, लेकिन साथ ही साथ ही ट्राइड टू सेव 1,300 पीपल फ्रॉम द क्लचेस ऑफ हिटलर. War के बाद, although I told you he was considered to be a flawed person, womanizer, drinker, profiteer, but after the war, he was commemorated as a very right person among the nations, and by the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum. This is the museum in Jerusalem. He has got his picture as well, but was never seen as conventionally virtuous character. Yad Vashem is Israel's official memorial to the victims of Holocaust, and it is dedicated to preserving the memories of the Jews who were murdered, honoring Jews who fought against the Nazi oppressors. So this person is also honored in this museum. Unfortunately, he became very popular although during the war period, but after the war his business ventures completely failed and he got separated from his wife as well. He ended up living a luxurious life and started living in a small flat in Frankfurt. Eventually, he arranged to live part of the year in Israel, supported by his Jewish friends, and part of the year in Frankfurt. After 29 unexceptional post-war years, he died in 1974. Ultimately, he died in 1974. He was buried in Jerusalem as he wished with the help of his friend Pfefferberg. The one person behind the writing is actually Pfefferberg. Pfefferberg is the one who first persuaded Keneally to write a book, and after the publication of Schindler's Ark in 1982, Pfefferberg worked to persuade Steven Spielberg to film Kenelly's book using his acquaintance with Spielberg's mother to gain access. Spielberg की mother को जानते थे वो उनके थ्रू उन्होंने Spielberg को persuade किया, and this is a rare picture of Steven Spielberg with this Paul Pfefferberg and his wife Mila. The basic, although it is not a fiction, but still we find the glimpses of the traditional kind of moral stories, good versus evil. Isn't it so? The triumph of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming evil. The Jews in Schindler's List exhibit an unbroken spirit and will to survive. Jews की लाइफ को completely hell बना दिया गया था by the Nazis, by the Hitler, but still they had the spirit to survive. And it says, this book says, or this incident says, that one man can make a difference in the world and good always triumphs over evil. So that is it for this part of the video. If you want to join our classes, you can connect to us clicking the link given in description. During our classes, you will get the PDF notes of all the chapters in detail and the live interaction with the faculty and the group discussion with rest of the classmates, and that will help you a lot in your examination. So a great best of luck from my side to everyone who is appearing for the upcoming exams, and please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel.